You can live pretty cheap here.
So all
And
in, when you think of it in Bucharest, I mean, with groceries, maybe eating out, um, utilities, how much do you think you budget per month?
so outside of my car, probably it's like $1,200.
Hi, can Ernest and I ask you a favor? If you find our content helpful, please hit that subscribe and like button. It truly helps us grow and it makes Ernest happy. All right, so today we are heading over to the beautiful country of Romania with my new friend Andrew Cohen. Andrew, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sitting here on my couch in my apartment, in a big apartment block, right in the middle of Bucharest.
All right, man, you're in the heart of it. All right, so thanks so much for doing this, taking the time out of your day to share this information about living in Romania and the capital of Bucharest. Let's first start off with a little bit of who you are and where you're from, why you left the U.S. for Romania.
So I grew up in a little town outside of Boston. I'm from the East Coast and Norton, Massachusetts. But I spent the last about 19 years of my life living in San Francisco. And I moved there when I was about 21, 22 years old. And I taught piano lessons there professionally. And I supported myself with a little music school that I opened. And it was in a very nice neighborhood with a lot of families and a lot of foot traffic. And I also played the accordion. And I became interested in culture here. And the further I dug into that, I realized that this country is probably the best country in the world for playing the accordion. And
That's
um,
great.
yeah, so kind of over the last 5 years or so, I was visiting here for about 1 month every year to study music. And I made the dream to move here to try to support myself playing the accordion for people. And compared to the United States, people here they appreciate live music a bit more, and society recognizes that playing an instrument for people can be your job.
Yes.
And when you do kind of all the math with the money and how much people earn, people earn about 3 to 4, 5 times as much as in the US, just playing music for other people at parties. And
Okay. Wow. So that's your
yeah,
goal is you're going to be playing like a chord you love you're obviously a big music guy, so you play the accordion. I'm guessing you play it very well. And you're looking to do like events in Romania where you get hired and make a living that way?
right. The goal is really to support myself just playing in different projects, to develop a repertoire that people will want to hire me to play at their events. People still have traditional music here at weddings, at the baptism here is also a really big thing. So they'll have a big party with the live bands, sometimes three live bands, three singers, five singers, and they all get paid really well. And there's a culture of hiring musicians, of paying musicians. So kind of in short, society here, it recognizes that somebody who plays an instrument, it can be your job,
Yeah.
and you can support a family on the money playing an instrument. And
Wow. So your whole Google search protocol was finding the country where you could work and live as a musician performing, not teaching.
something like that.
If you've been thinking about moving abroad, but you're still stuck on where to go or even where to qualify, well, you're not alone. That uncertainty is exactly what holds most people back. That's why we created our Ideal Destination Finder, a simple 25-question assessment designed to cut through the noise. It looks at your lifestyle, budget, goals, and preferences and gives you your top 3 best fit countries to move to. No more guessing, no more endless research, just clear, personalized direction that saves you time, money, and a lot of frustration. And if you're that kind of person that wants more clarity, someone to talk things through with, I offer one-on-one consultations where we can map this out together based on your exact situation. If you're ready to move forward, head over to adventurefreaksss.com. You can scroll down a little and you'll see the ideal destination on the left. Just click it and get started. On the right, you can book a consultation with me. Pick a time that works for you. It's that simple. We'd love to help you finally get clear and take the next step.
Like
Yeah.
I'm also interested in the specific type of music that's played here. There's a very, Romania is a country with a history of like 1,000 years, and the music has been going on a very long time. I'm also just generally interested in this specific kind of music that's happening here,
Okay.
traditional.
Now, have any issues with learning Romanian? Are you practicing or in a school right now learning it?
So, yeah, that's a good question. I realized very quickly when I moved here that the professional musicians and the people that I really will want to work with, and then the kinds of gigs that I want, nobody speaks English at any of these gigs.
Okay.
And so I'm really trying to integrate into culture here. Um, so I realized right when I moved here that I have to learn Romanian.
Yeah.
And I moved here pretty much exactly a year ago now, and the whole first year has been a journey of learning the language. So I
Hmm.
did school. I signed up for classes. I took about 8 or 9 months of formal classes where you learn grammar. You just start to develop vocabulary. You learn different expressions. Every morning, basically, my first major activity is to study language. And so now I'm reading a book in Romanian. I'm reading like my third book in Romanian. I speak with a language learning app. I can speak about all these things. I finished Duolingo. I graduated the whole program. I did some other app, Monly. Do not believe any of the advertisements that say you can learn language in 100 days. I get all of these advertisements. This is baloney. This is like nonsense. I am somebody who really has taken that journey seriously, and now my brain can handle like 3 hours a day of like translating and listening and speaking. And I've been doing that for about 11 months every single day. And
That's
I
that's terrific.
and after about 11 months, I can speak pretty much like a 9-year-old kid or a 10-year-old
Wow.
kid.
Good for
And
you, man. Well, you must have a knack for that too, but you're obviously very disciplined. So that helps. How are for the viewers watching when you first get there, do Romanians in Bucharest, do many of them speak enough English to kind of get by?
right. So in Bucharest, about 30% of people in general speak at least some English.
Okay.
Uh, Maybe 20% of people speak English well enough to have a decent conversation.
Okay.
Most of them are under the age of like 45 years old.
Hmm.
However, like when you leave Bucharest, immediately like nobody speaks English.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, and people generally over 45, 50 years old don't really speak English. It's more like, hello, my friend, USA, number one, money. Like it's these
Yes.
basic.
Right. Okay. So everybody needs to obtain residency when moving to a country. What can you share about how you did that? What visa are you on and how do you do it? And is there an income requirement that you have to prove to stay there?
So I knew another American who's lived here for about 10 years now. And so he told me the kind of easiest way is to register an LLC. And in Romania, it's called an SRL and SRL. And what can I say about it? I hired a lawyer, and then I just looked on some Facebook groups for expats. And if I went through the entire process myself, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it, or it would have taken too long. So I hired a lawyer to do about 50 or 60% of the process. Um, in Romania, dealing with anything that's kind of like related to the bureaucracy, like in this instance, getting your residency permit, or another example is I bought a car and trying to register a car here. You have these kind of government entities that are left over from communism. It's very chaotic. It's very hard to navigate, and it's really something else,
Hmm.
people complain in the US about the DMV, but here it's just a whole other level of it's very Kafka-esque. There basically was a checklist somebody sent me from Facebook. The lawyer could do about half of the checklist. I had to do the other checklist. I needed to get 12 different documents, insurance, health insurance, this bank account. I needed to go to this office to get this stamp. Why do you need this stamp? Nobody knows, but hey, you need it.
Yeah.
And I needed a bank account for my LLC. I had to put about 50 bucks in it.
Okay.
Um, with the lawyer, this whole process took like about 6 weeks to
Okay.
do. And
So you were still in the US?
no, you have to be here.
You have to be
The
here. So you were living on a tourist visa during that period.
Right.
Okay.
So Romania is part of the EU, so I can stay here legally for 3 months,
Yes. Okay.
but for 90 days.
How much did the
And
lawyer charge you?
so in the end, the entire process beginning to end, like including the lawyer and insurance and everything, it's really a lot of documents. The whole thing was about 600 euros, so that's like $700, 700
Okay.
something.
S-
And I, Mhm.
And you've obtained residency through forming this LLC. I've heard this before that people do it, and there really isn't an income requirement. But does the LLC or the business have to show that it's making income over a period of time?
That's a good question. I am going to discover that in the next month or two because I need to renew my residency.
Okay.
So the residency is for 1 year. I will have to contact that lawyer again. I will have to go to some government office for this stamp, that
Yes.
stamp.
Yeah.
Um, I will maybe have to file taxes here in order to get that. So, but I don't think there's a specific amount that I have to prove beyond that, like $50 that I put
Yeah.
in the bank.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've interviewed other expats living in Romania, and they've done the same thing. They've been there for years, maybe even, over 10 years. So that's great information. Okay. So after you move there, you got to find a place to live. Is that hard to do? And what are the monthly budget kind of cost of living for you in Bucharest?
So for me, I found an apartment through a friend. Always everything here is better when you know a local and they can connect you to somebody. I've believed my whole life that the deals are always out there. The world gets more expensive, but if you have good relationships with people, the
Yes.
right people who can connect you to this or that, what you need, you can always find a really good deal. So I got this apartment, which is not the most centrally located, but it's still considered in the center ring of the city. Um, and my rent is 450 euros a month.
Okay.
And the apartment in square feet, probably at 600 square feet,
Okay.
650 square feet.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep, it was 3 rooms. They knocked down the walls between two of the rooms, so now it's one big room.
Hmm.
The apartment was renovated 5 years ago, so everything's pretty much new. The appliances are all new.
Hmm.
I'm in a very quiet building, and I'm in the back of the building. That was important to me that I have peace and quiet. You can live pretty cheap here. Like, it's really interesting. Like, the food in the supermarket is very cheap compared to the United States.
So all
And
in, when you think of it in Bucharest, I mean, with groceries, maybe eating out, um, utilities, how much do you think you budget per month?
so outside of my car, probably it's like $1,200.
That's really incredible. It's especially living in a city like Bucharest. What are you doing for healthcare? That's always on the minds of people moving out of the US, especially moving out of the US and going to another country. Have you explored that yet, or any insurance plans or?
I needed insurance for just the residency permit.
Okay.
So I got whatever, some basic health insurance for a few $100s a year, $300 or $400 for the year.
Okay.
There's the public medical system, which is free for everybody. They have
Okay.
socialized here.
Okay.
Um, but from what I know from my friends and their parents who have medical issues, it's better to use the private system. Um, and the private system, I actually did have some dental work done here.
Okay.
So, a few years ago, before I visited here, I fell off my bike and I lost these 2 teeth in the
Ooh.
front, like a few weeks before coming here. And I didn't want to cancel the trip. So I came here and somebody referred me to a dentist. And the dentist was very nice. He worked on the people who are like presenters on the television and does cosmetic dentistry. And I had my two front teeth totally replaced with these nice ceramic implants, and I had to go several times. And the whole thing was like $1,000,
Okay.
and for 2 teeth. And
Yeah.
in the US, I imagined it would have been $5,000, $6,000 for this.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what surprised you the most about living there?
What's really surprising, people drive like maniacs here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, uh, I bought a car. I kind of separated my expenses into the car and without the car, because owning a car here is a luxury, and it's not usual compared to the US. In general, most people own a car,
Yeah.
and here it's not as normal. Like, it's a luxury to own a car. It is the thing I consider a luxury to have here.
Okay.
So, um, yeah, look, I felt like I adapted pretty good to driving because I grew up close to Boston. People are aggressive drivers in the Northeast generally. They can
Yeah.
be. Uh, but there are many driving situations here where it's not clear what to do.
Okay.
And um, it apparently there are rules. It is clear in some rule book that you should be acting this way. When the light changes at the intersection, 50 cars all pile into the middle of the intersection, one after the other. And this kind of pile up happens, then everybody kind of works their way through the intersection. And I learned that there are rules. It's just 30 or 40% of people just don't follow the rules.
Okay.
So everybody's improvising their own system for driving here. I've never really witnessed a bad accident. I've never witnessed anybody being hit. Everybody kind of makes their own way.
Yeah.
But I think it's maybe a reflection of life here that people improvise their own system of living a little bit. And
Interesting. Did you have to get a license there?
I have an international driver's
Inter-
license,
Okay.
and eventually I'll need to take a driver's test here. And
Okay. So the next question is, what's harder than people expect?
So if you want to move here and you don't plan on learning the language, it won't be too hard to find other English speaking people and probably there's other Americans here. There's more than just a couple Americans that I know, I'm sure. And you can find some groups of people to hang out with. But if you want to learn a language and to integrate into a culture that's not yours, that's hard to do. Learning a language has definitely been harder
The
than I've
thing.
expected. Um, Other aspects of life, I feel really grateful. Personally, it has not been hard for me to make friends.
Hmm.
Um, that has not been challenging for me. People, because I want to be part of culture here, people are curious about me. And
Yes.
I think something else that has kind of hit me here is Romania is a monoculture. And 90% of people here are Romanian. They're one ethnicity.
Okay.
Uh, about 5% of people, maybe a little more, they're Romani.
Hmm.
Um, and now the about 5% of people in Bucharest, they're actually from Bangladesh, they're from Pakistan. So I think if you wanted to come here, a big thing to realize is if you wanted to come here from the United States, you would be going from, in general, in the big cities, it's a very multicultural environment.
Hmm.
And even in the little town I grew up in close to Boston, there's multiculturalism. There are people from here, from there, from this country. They speak this language, they speak that language. You kind of grew up in that, with that in the background. You take it for granted. And then here, it's not that. It's one culture.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, now everybody has the smartphone. Everybody's exposed to all sorts of ideas now. Everything's becoming so connected. Everybody is in their own information world. But still, this is Romania. There's Romanian culture is here.
Sure.
And I think if you came here and you recognize that, it would it would be helpful. It would be helpful to see that there's a story that's been going on between this group of people like for a very long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's
No,
not it's Yeah, it's not like the US.
that's great.
So
Yeah, it's great information. All right. So that's it. Is there any last words you can think of, Andrew, that you can share on Romania for the viewers considering moving there? Anything come to mind?
yeah, I think there's a great value here. Yeah, the quality of the food is still very natural here. The food has a lot of taste here. The people are very friendly. Like, again, I've made a lot of friends here in a relatively short amount of time. People are very pro-America here. People love Americans. Uh, they love America. For a lot of people, their dream is to just go to America at some point in their life.
Hmm.
So for people, oftentimes I'm the first American that a lot of people meet.
Okay.
And over time, yeah, I think that's really special. You get to represent America, and I've lived here for a year, and I've wanted to live here for a while, but I still love America. I think America's the greatest.
Yeah, sure.
And so, any last words would be, you will be appreciated being here.
Hmm.
People will recognize that it took you a long time to get here. You really made effort to come here. You're really curious about being here, and people will generally be very friendly to you and very open and curious about you.
Hmm.
And I think that's a beautiful and kind of privileged place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. All right. Well, Andrew Cohen, thank you so much for taking the time to share all of this information about Romania, living in Romania. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're connected, and I'm glad to help you with your project.